Welcome to the Dynasty Happy Hour podcast. Pull up a chair and kick up your feet as you get ready to enjoy some of the industry's most entertaining and actionable Dynasty content on the planet. We're talking veterans, rookies, sleepers, and oh yeah, you know the crew has those dad jokes ready for you. So let's not wait any longer and bring on the host or some combination of Doug, James, and Tyler.
Hello and welcome to the Dynasty Happy Hour. It is the episode before the NFL draft, which is coming up in just 4 short days. I'll be in Rochester, New York with my buddies. Didn't go to Vegas.
I'll be in Rochester too.
Yeah, but you're being in Rochester, Minnesota. Tyler, you're going to a draft party at your boy's place, right?
Yeah, he just opened up a bar that has like golf simulators. It's got 3 pickleball courts. It's like an adult playground, like bags, huge Jenga thing. Like it's insane. He's getting us a golf simulator for the draft. It's gonna be awesome.
I heard that you're working on a golf stimulator, which is going to be built right next to it. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a separate booth.
Something about balls and washing, and it's going to be awesome.
Better change those shafts, Tyler.
I'll just be dressed like a caddy.
Oh boy, James, what are you doing for the draft? Anything special? Chilling at home? Going out with the boys?
I have a rehearsal dinner for a wedding.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that. Sorry.
Oh, somebody hates football.
Rip.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you
You're going to be there with your phone on your hand, just like.
I mean, the rehearsal dinner should be pretty much over by the time.
That's what you think.
We get to the 10th round or 10th pick. So
we shall see.
And
we have a guest this week. This is the Canton Crew. We all stayed in a room together.
Yeah.
The many memories were made. There was 3 a.m. burgers. There was lots of funny things ripping on Tyler.
Like a pack of hyenas laughing.
It was a beautiful time that I will always remember. And our friend Shane is here. Shane, welcome to the Dynasty Happy Hour. How are you? Do you have any draft plans?
Oh, I got big plans. I'm gonna I got the sofa. I'm gonna chill on the sofa. At some point I'm gonna go on someone's podcast, I'm sure, because I've said yes to like 4 of them.
Any overlap?
Yeah. And I also didn't keep track of which ones I said yes to.
Oh,
that's
perfect.
always the
wild card, Shane.
That's
Always
I
the
like
wild
doing
card.
that, because then you get the message from people and they're like, "Hey, we're still on, right?" And you're like, "Sure, yeah."
You just get the invite sent, the StreamYard like link. So there's like, oh, here it is. You're like, oh, okay, yep,
yeah.
Here.
Guess I'm doing this show.
Nice. Well, to set up the show this week, we are doing a Superflex 2-round mock. We've got the picks order. We've got it all written down, so we're fairly organized this week, which is always great. But I'm going to tell you somewhere that is always organized, and that is fantasypoints.com. We are part of the Fantasy Points Media Group. If you want to listen to other awesome fantasy football podcasts, you can find them there as well as us. There's a lot of cool stuff on that website. We've got a promo code right now. You can still catch an early bird special on Fantasy Points. And just to tell you, it's one of the best in the industry. The numbers don't lie, right? 90% of the subscribers last year and the year before all were able to make the playoffs. It's an absolutely amazing website. There's stuff on there if you like DFS, a little bit of everything. So right now you can use code DHH, I believe, on that one. Hold on, let me scroll up. DHH22, and you get 10% off a Fantasy Point subscription. I was in the wrong spot. I got a little wonky. It's okay. It's the lowest price in the industry, Analytic powered draft tool. So if you're looking at redraft, anything like that, you can go on there. They're going to have it all sorted out for you. Awesome articles, just a plethora of fantasy football content on Fantasy Point. So make sure you check that out today. And again, it's code DHH22. So before we get into some news, there's not a lot going on in the league right now. I want to give the stage to Shane. Shane, what have you been working on? Where can we find you? I'm going to do it in the beginning of the podcast instead of the end, because I feel like it's a disservice to do it at the end, because then people have to listen to the whole thing.
Well, I was going to say, people are going to stop listening, probably at least.
They already did, so it's fine.
Yeah. At this point, they've already done it. Let's say it's a Dynasty Trades HQ podcast. Manic and Chill. I see my dude in the thing, and the what do you call that? The chat. Do that once every quarter. Then we got Dynasty Trades in 5 on the YouTubes, 3 or 4 episodes a week, however many my boss Clay tells me I need to do.
Nice.
Then I'm writing for DLF and Trophy Smack and sometimes Fantasy Data. fantasy data.
Shane, you are a busy man, and I praise you for your work ethic.
It's a lot of work. It's like,
I know. Oh, I know.
Getting in front of a computer and then just spouting nonsense. It's very hard. Very hard.
But you do it so eloquently and with full of class and grace. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to say. So thank you for joining us today. So let's get into some news. There's been some wide receiver drama. I was talking to Tyler and James earlier this week, and I said, we used to give T.O., Moss, and Ocho a bunch of crap for being divas. But I got to give it to this generation of wide receivers. Like, they're upping the diva game to, like, a new level. You had Tyreek get traded, Devontae, like, all this stuff going on. And now we have Deebo Samuel out of nowhere request a trade from the 49ers. He said, don't make me an offer. Just trade me. The Niners, of course, say they have no intention on trading him. Now, if he is going to get traded, it's most likely going to be on draft night. Super interesting because Deebo Samuel became a star for the Niners last year. And it's interesting that in that system where he flourished, I think part of his grievance is that they use him too much at the running back position, and he wants to be just a wide receiver. I think that might be part of it. Do we think that Deebo Samuel gets moved on draft day, Shane?
Yes. I'm a full 78% sure that he's gone. It might not be actually draft day though.
Look, I want to know where that number came from. 78%.
It was the year I was born, 1978. Makes sense.
Yeah, I looked on the DraftKings, and I think that's the odds they gave me, 78-1 or something. I'm not really sure how that works. 78 just seems like a good number, right? It's close enough to 100% that I can claim it if it happens.
It's a C plus. It's a C plus. It's good.
Right. But it's close enough to 50% where I could be like, well, look, guys, I said it was like 50-50. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're splitting the difference between 50 and 100, pretty much.
Exactly.
I'm unpacking your methodology here. It's good. Your mental algorithm, I'm breaking it down.
I'd say it's pretty certain he's getting traded, right? Because he told the 49ers, don't make me an offer, bro. I just want to leave.
Shanahan doesn't care. Shanahan's like,
everyone hates Kyle Shanahan. And I've been saying this for a few years now. Dude must just be oppressive and just an awful person with halitosis, because nobody wants to practice for him. Like, he's always having problems with younger players. Deebo's like, look, I'm really good, and now I want to leave. Like, didn't he break out a giant 49ers chain at the game last year? So at some point,
something went bad.
And Kyle Shanahan came over and talked to him, and he's like, I don't want to be around you. You're creepy. Maybe he's a creeper. I don't know.
Maybe. James, what do you think about Deebo? And if he does get traded, where would you like to see him end up? I mean, a lot of teams could use a Deebo Samuel, right? Like, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think he wants to be compensated for his overall usage. It's not just he wants to be a receiver. He is definitely utilized as a unique Swiss Army knife kind of player.
A weapon, if you will.
Yeah, and whether or not it happens on draft night, it probably will. And if so, I know the Jets are all in on it.
They offered pick 10.
Pick 10. I mean,
I'd rather have Deebo than Drake London, personally.
100%. But you know what you're getting already.
The Eiffel Tower, as
we
he's known on this
this Jets team just going out and trying to get players. They missed on Tyreek. I think they try for Deebo as hard as they can, and I think it probably happens.
Tyler, what about your Falcons?
I'm 79%.
No.
Your Falcons could use a wide receiver.
No. I mean, they don't have cap. They don't have players. No. I mean, this is a bad team with a bad cap situation for a year.
I wish that my team, who should have drafted Deebo Samuel instead of N'Keal Harry, that would be a perfect fit. But it's not going to happen because, again, cap space. I know the cap is
a myth.
But with the Pats, they don't do these crazy restructures and kick the can down the road. So, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and I mean, for Curtis Samuel's brother, hopefully he can really get the bag.
Yeah, hopefully. Shane, we have a running gag on this show that there's players that aren't related are related.
No,
and it stems from me saying Isaiah Spiller was CJ Spiller's brother, which I thought was true. And I got fact checked and I was wrong. So now we draw the comparisons every week.
Every
I'm
week.
not just a member. I listen every week.
No,
I listened
you know
to
what?
Tyler
I
last
appreciate
week. Assuming
Alfredo,
that Alfredo was Italian, and not understanding for like 3 minutes, like a full solid 3 minutes, like that.
That's an all-timer, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
That was an absolute all-timer. I can't wait
That's
till
a
we have
great
someone named.
episode.
I can't wait till we have someone with the first name Linguini on the show. It's going to be amazing.
I mean, the math adds up.
No,
If you're-
definitely. If you're an Alfredo, you're definitely Italian. Except
Yeah,
when you're
or
not.
we find someone named Potato and then they're just Irish or something.
Are they from Idaho?
Or they're from Idaho. I'm going to go searching fantasy Twitter for food named people and just bring them on. I don't care if they have any experience. I'm just going to bring them on as guests. Just
I would love that.
That would be fun.
All right, so we talked about Debo a little bit. There's been a little bit of news about AJ Brown. He's holding out of off-season programs, as is Terry McLaurin. AJ Brown wants a new contract. Titans GM John Robinson.
He also threw the ball with Jalen Hurts today. There was a picture.
Oh yeah,
of Jalen Hurts.
Very nice.
blew up all over Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it's
I
meaningless.
haven't been on Twitter today, so news to me. Look at that. Breaking news in Doug's brain.
There was some lady with 900 followers that told me she's been following Jalen Hurts since Alabama, and he never does social media just to do it. So it might mean something, or it could not. So I'm very enthused.
I mean, do the Eagles really want to draft another receiver this year? Like, just go and get an established one. You know,
You don't want to pay $20 million for a receiver, though, right?
Ideally, no. But
Or
Titans
that
GM
quarterback.
John Robinson did say he does not see the Titans trading Brown. Of course, he's going to say that because the moment that he says like we're going to trade AJ Brown, like you can't do that. So I don't think AJ Brown is going anywhere. The Titans offense needs him, and it's really interesting. I just saw a mock draft today that had the Titans taking James's boy Desmond Ridder in the first round. Got to pay
But they already
Brown. I
have
don't know
him?
if you want to pay Tannehill.
They already have a guy like him in Tannehill. I mean,
Yeah, but Tannehill's also making like 30 milli.
He's better than Tim.
is he though?
Yep.
Is he? Okay.
James doubling down. We'll find out if James takes him in this Superflex mock momentarily. So not too much to go on with AJ Brown. And lastly, at running back, Chris Carson, who is 27 years old. Seattle said they're unclear if he'll be able to return from his neck injury. He had disc fusion in November. James actually had the same surgery. So James Carson, no relation to Johnny Carson, I don't think. But please tell me about this surgery and what it means.
All right. So when you have a disc fusion in your neck, it has to do with the T1, T2 vertebrae in your neck. And what they do is they put a cadaver bone, which is a dead person's bone, in your neck with a metal clamp and screws, and they fuse it together to strengthen the other vertebrae in your neck. I had it done. It's not pleasant. And they go through the front. I don't know if you could see the scar on screen. Yeah, maybe a little bit right there. And what happens is, I mean, it's an easier spinal surgery than you would think, but some people, they lose feeling in their hands. Like I have bad feeling in my hand.
I have a
So that
question.
gives me
Is
worries about.
Do they do local anesthesia or do they put you out?
Oh, they put you out, dude. You're not awake for this. No. It's a serious surgery. Anytime there's like a spinal.
You wouldn't
Really?
think Tyler works
Really,
at a
Tyler?
hospital.
Tyler, don't you just like happen to stumble in the hospital room sometimes?
Yeah,
and
like
see what
just
happens
trip and you
going on while
fall
you're
into
there?
the OR.
Obviously, I was joking.
You know, this whole time I
but
thought the Mayo Clinic was just like a mayonnaise
Yeah, I
laboratory.
thought they were just
It
like
is.
he was working for Hellman's or something.
it is. It's Hyman's.
But no, I currently
Mayo
have
laboratory.
tingling feeling in my hand sometimes. I get tendonitis in my elbow because of it, and it all stems from up here and it goes into your nerves for your hands, depending on where exactly the problem was with the vertebrae. So it is a serious surgery, and I am concerned, man, because I wouldn't want to take a shot on a football field
Right.
after that surgery. And
Especially with his physical play style too. Chris
Right,
Carson
and-
doesn't play around. Like he's a physical guy.
it took me 10 to 12 weeks to get out of surgery and then start like rehabbing. And then
So the surgery took 10 to 12 weeks.
10 to 12 weeks. Yeah, no, Tyler. You literally can't do crap for 10 to 12 weeks. You have to not move. You have to be very careful. And then after that, I guess I was fine. I mean, it doesn't bother me as much as my other spinal surgeries, but definitely something to note. I don't think I'd be able to go out and play football professionally
Well,
afterwards.
he did come out with a workout video, so it's Chris Carson off season already.
Was he getting
Usually-
hit?
No, he was just running
Okay.
around looking like the Hulk. I mean, the dude's massive.
He's a thick
But-
boy.
But yeah, with Penny's 1-year contract, they want to see what they got in him, and I would not be shocked if they do draft another running back earlier than what we expect.
I could see that for sure.
No,
All right.
Isaiah Spiller in the first.
Oh, God.
Oh god,
Oh God,
Pete Carroll's just sitting there. Yes.
the wad of gum
Just
in his
chewing
mouth.
his gum like an absolute bovine. All right, let's move on to our mock. But before we do, I want to give a shout out to our longstanding sponsor, Trophy Smack, who Shane gave them some dap. He writes for them. So make sure you use TrophySmack.com for all your fantasy. Tyler, I'm going to be shipping the Trophy Smack belt the end of this coming week, so you'll finally have it. So congrats.
Nice.
You can upgrade your fantasy league today. And whether you play fantasy football, hockey, basketball, baseball, even soccer, if that's your thing, you can order a completely customizable trophy from TrophySmack.com. They have the right trophy for you. And if you use code DHHRing, you get a free $60 value championship ring with the purchase of a trophy or a belt. They also have stuff for all the losers of your league. So we all know there's that one guy who he went 1-12 or 13. You can get him a toilet bowl. You can give him a little poop, and you can put it on there and be like, bro, you were last place here. Pass that on next year. So there's stuff for everyone on TrophySmack.com. And once again, it's code DHHRing for that free ring at checkout. All right, we are going to go into our Superflex mock draft 2-rounder. And this is the draft order. So James has got the first overall pick. Shane is going to pick second. I am going to pick third. And Tyler is going to pick 4. We are not doing a snake, so you won't have to hear Tyler's voice back to back, which is probably the best part of this podcast, to be honest.
100%.
And then we're just going to start, and we're just going to, we're going to do, we'll start over with the order once again. So this is Superflex. Are we doing tight end premium?
Sure.
No. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really.
Let's make it 3.5 point tight end premium,
Oh, well, hey.
and then one tight end will get drafted in the first, and then that's it.
Yeah, there's no Kyle Pitts this year in the first round. Sorry.
Nope.
Sorry. All right, so James, let's kick it off here at the 101 Superflex mock draft, DHH style. Let's go.
All right. So since it's Superflex, I'm not taking a quarterback.
Yeah.
How about that? I've battled with myself back and forth on the Superflex method, Superflex format for Dynasty with this draft class. And guess what? There are no sure bets. You'll be waiting around for a while. I want to win kind of now and a little bit later. I'm taking Kenneth Walker just to piss Tyler off.
Oh, I'm not mad. Why would I be mad? I don't pick for 4 picks.
Oh,
I mean, you're pretty much proving my point from last week and the week before. So
we're not
thank
doing the
you.
debate. All right. We're not doing the debate. But Kenneth Walker, he's said to be the true runner, and he can catch the ball, even though we haven't really seen it. I see him landing. I saw him in a mock landing to the Giants today. So I'd be happy about that as well. They need somebody good back there. I don't care where he goes. I know he can play, and I know he will be utilized early in his career. So I'm all for him. If I have the 101, he's definitely worth it.
All right. The surprising off the board 101 is Kenny Skywalker. That's a basketball reference for anyone that was born in the 80s. You're welcome. If you got that, give yourself a point on the board. Boop. All right. We're going to go to the second overall pick with our lovely, beautiful, handsome guest, Shane. Hit us with the 102.
I'm just absolutely flabbergasted that I'm going to get to make this choice, but it's going to be Breece Hall. I thought I thought it was going to be. I have to take Malik Willis here. I was getting ready to explain why I needed to take Malik Willis here, but thanks to Chef, my sleeping buddy, my little bedroom mate.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna. I get to go with Breece here. Number 1 running back in the class, 3 down back. It's clear he's going to end up in Buffalo. I think we've all manifested that into actually happening.
Houston is a better landing spot, in my opinion, if we're going to actually go about landing spots. Buffalo would be nice, but I still think they have a thing for Singletary. But Houston, he's getting
good down the
everything.
stretch.
The problem with Singletary is I have a thing for Singletary. Buffalo doesn't because they were like, can we get J.D. McKissick in here to help Singletary?
Singletary's a great between the tackles, which is surprising.
I don't disagree with you. I think he's a very good running back, but unfortunately, I'm not calling plays for Buffalo.
You're not? Wait, hold on.
I know.
This is news to me.
Look, I don't know that there's a bad landing spot at all for Brees Hall. Obviously, if he lands somewhere in like Cleveland with Nick Chubb, all right, my story will change.
That's Dearness Johnson territory. Don't even go there.
Yeah.
Whether it's Buffalo, whether it's Houston Texans, whether it's the Jacksonville Jaguars,
the Jets,
33, I don't care. Wherever he goes, he's going to be 20 touches a game at least. So I'm all about the Brees Hall love.
So I was going to go to Kenneth Walker too. I heard rumors of him going to the Jets. I would actually like that for both him and Carter. It kind of eases them both into situational kind of spots, but I think they can work well together, kind of what you saw from Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So, Doug, I know as much as you love Carter and you'd hate that, I think it'd actually be good for them.
I think it would be okay. It wouldn't be a killer type of situation.
Because Carter needs somebody else, because I don't think he'd be able to last with 25 touches a game.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the 103, and that is up to me. At the 103 in a Superflex league, to get the everyone's pretty much consensus QB1, I'm going to take Malik Willis here, and part of it is because there's nothing more valuable in a Superflex league than a quarterback, and if you hit on one, it is massive. So typically, I think we're going to see Malik Willis go 101 in a lot of Superflex leagues. So to be able to get him at 103, I'm not as hot on Willis as some. I'm more of like a lukewarm. I can see he's got a large range of outcomes, right? Like I see the upside. He's got a cannon bazooka of an arm. He's got speed. I know he didn't run the 40 at his pro day or at the combine, but he can probably run in the high 4.4s, low 4.5s. So he can be that Konami code quarterback. I don't like his sack rate in college. It's like almost 10%. That's a lot. So I think he's got some work to do
Don't criticize a man's sack rate. That's not cool.
Holding the ball a little bit too long, not making decisions, kind of like Justin Fields in a way. So I can see him being like a fantasy stud, but I can also see him being a potential bust too. So for me, at the third overall pick to take the QB1 with that, he does have a high ceiling. That's where I go on this pick because I know when I pick again, there'll be some wide receivers possibly for me. So I want to take Malik Willis at the 103. I think it's good value, strangely enough, in a Superflex league. So Tyler, give us the 104.
Yeah, I would have loved to get Willis, but realistically, he's probably not going to fall. In my opinion, in this draft class, there's 4 elite players. 4 players, in my opinion, that can actually be game-changing number 1 at the position. And it's so far 3 of them. And I'm going to take the 4th. And that is Garrett Wilson.
I knew that was coming. Garrett
Wilson is easily my wide receiver 1, and it's not even close. I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm in a league with Doug and Shane, and I have 104. I'm guaranteed one of these 4 players, and I'm going to be happy about it
until you trade the pick.
If I had 105, I'd be upset because it's a clear tier drop off for me. So Garrett Wilson, I see a lot of Justin Jefferson in him, a little bit of Judy as well, but he is, in my opinion, a slam dunk safe. I think at worst, he's a wide receiver 3 for your team. And at best, he is your top dog starting every week, and you're just pumped.
Yeah, Wilson is my wide receiver 1 as well. So I like that pick, obviously. All right, let's go back to James. We are at the 105, and this is where it starts to get dicey, according to Tyler. James, do you agree, or you're like, nah, I got a guy right here. Boom, let's do this.
No, I'm taking my guy, and Desmond Ridder. Everybody knows who listens to this show that is my guy. I think he is definitely ready to take the reins of wherever he gets drafted. I've heard Pittsburgh, I've heard Seattle, I've heard a whole bunch of different places, and wherever he winds up, it doesn't really matter. He is going to get his shot. He is a well-rounded player. He knows his thing. He is QB smart. And when I say QB smart, like Malik Willis, he holds on to the ball. Desmond Ridder doesn't hold on to the ball. He makes a decision and sticks with it. He can scramble out of the pocket. He has every attribute I think he needs to be successful at the next level. And for fantasy purposes, that's what you want. You want an all-around quarterback. So I am taking him with the 105. I don't see him falling further down the line than 106 in your fantasy drafts at home.
So I have a question for you. Now,
Sure.
according to DLF, his ADP right now is the 14th overall player. So if you were, let's use this as not like you don't have multiple first round picks and you had the 105. Would you trade down a handful of spots and feel confident that you could still get Ritter if this was like a regular league draft format?
No.
Okay,
And
so you're
the
committed to taking him
105
there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him getting out of the first round.
I do.
Well, I mean, that's you, Tyler. We all know your opinion's stronger than everybody else's. But I don't see him falling past the 108.
Okay.
So it's all depending
to drop
on where he
down
goes,
3
though.
spots. What are you giving up for those 3?
A second.
A second? You
Somebody
getting a
move up.
second?
I mean, 105 to 108 in this draft class is actually substantial, in my opinion. Somebody's trained up to get Drake London. Somebody's trained up to
get any of the
to get one of
receivers.
the next receiver. Yeah, and in my opinion, I don't think anybody after Willis, from what I've seen on social media and stuff, after Malik, it just seems like a hodgepodge. People don't know what to do at quarterback, and your stance at Ritter is strong, and I 100% appreciate that. That's awesome. Stick with your guy. That's what people need to do. And the fact that you're taking him here is awesome. But I do think that you could trade back to 8, 9, even 10 in this draft class. And I think you'd still be able to get him because, in my opinion, there'll be another quarterback taken before Ritter.
Yeah, very well could be. All right, so let's get to Shane. He's got the 106. He went Breece Hall at the 102, which was, slam dunk pick there. So let's see what he does here at the 106.
Oh, so I'm debating between two guys, but I'll take Drake London just because if I have a choice of a bigger man or a smaller man, I'll always take this bigger man on.
Royal Exchange, Drake London.
Yeah, I was the tallest guy in that room. I remember.
Yeah, but he slept in my bed.
I'm feeling better the more I talk to people that are smarter than me about Drake London. I'm worried about the contested catches and things like that. And from everything I hear from particularly from your sponsors over at Fantasy Points, is it's not a him situation where it's not that he can't get separation, which is really my only concern. I don't want to talk table talk, but the one guy I was thinking about behind him is Jameson. But just it's hard to count on just 1 year production. I just love London's production, his size. And like I said, the more I listen to smart people tell me that he doesn't have separation issues, I'm going to trust in them and hope that he's not the next N'Keal Harry, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Laquan Treadwell, Avatar.
Corey Coleman.
If he lands in a spot where he can run that post route and he has a quarterback that can hit that in the basket, it's going to be lights out for Drake London all day long.
Yeah. All right. So I'm at the 107 and I'm looking receiver and Shane just mentioned his name and I know he had 1 year of production and tore his ACL in the championship game, but I think he's going to get drafted in the first round. And if he goes to an LA Chargers team, if he goes to Kansas City, I think you're going to see Jameson Williams jump up to in Superflex leagues. I think he might be people's wide receiver 1 because we all know that when wide receivers go to spots with elite quarterbacks, they get that bump, right? So if Garrett Wilson is a Jet and Jameson Williams goes to the Chiefs, people are going to overreact and forget that like Wilson's the better prospect, in my opinion. But Williams has got the better landing spot, and people are going to freak out because they're going to be like, Tyreek Hill's not there anymore. He's the next Tyreek. I need him on my team. Give me Jameson Williams, first overall receiver. It's going to happen. That's all I'm saying.
That voice was awesome.
Yeah, where'd that voice come from, man?
I got voices for days. You know this.
Did you hear about Byron Pringle today? Speaking of Chiefs.
He's on the Bears, right?
Yeah, well, he's a Bear now, but apparently
Did he get popped?
He got arrested or something?
He got popped. Pringle got popped.
Yeah.
He can't stop, man. All right, so Jameson Williams at the 107. Seeing these mocks in that back half of the first round, there's a lot of teams with good quarterbacks there. I just think he lands on the Chargers or the Chiefs or a juicy landing spot. If he lands on the Pats, cool for the Pats. We'll see. I'm not as amped up about Mac Jones. But I think if he lands in a couple of those different spots, it's going to be wheels up. People are going to go crazy for Williams in rookie drafts. But at the 107, I really like him here. I do like the talent. I like he's not Henry Ruggs. People can stop with that. I've heard that on a couple of podcasts.
Just because he went to Alabama?
And he's fast.
And he's fast.
Yeah.
He must be Henry Ruggs, right?
Oh.
There's a lot of narrative street for Williams.
Henry Ruggs wasn't even just a deep receiver. It's just that the Raiders decided that's all they were going to use him in his rookie season.
Yeah, and then we saw before the incident, he was getting used differently, and he was succeeding.
He was starting to break out a little bit, for sure.
Yeah, and how many wide receivers in this draft class ran a 4th?
Only a couple.
No, I'm not.
I mean, it seemed like a lot.
It seemed like a lot more than normal.
Yeah, it was a fast group.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess it was.
All right, I'm going to pick, and it's going to be a quarterback because quarterbacks are king in Superflex. Kenny Pickett, I get he has a small hands, but you know what? I think he offers more than Mac Jones last year from a fantasy perspective, just a tiny bit, but at this pick, I'm fine with taking him. I mean, if I miss, I miss, but any chance at a quarterback in Superflex, I'm going to take, especially at this pick. So 108. It's crazy because I have 108 in the league we're in as well, fellas. So
I think you're taking Kenny Pickett here because his last name sounds like Puckett, and you're from Minnesota.
Yes, he is definitely related to Kirby Puckett.
I am onto you. I am totally onto you, Tyler Gunther. You cannot slip one by me.
I am a name drafter for sure.
Or you're like Nose Pickett? Like,
Garrett Wilson, because I'm a big fan of Home Improvement and Mr. Wilson.
Right.
No, wait.
No.
Nope, that's Dennis the Menace.
That's Dennis the Menace. You screwed it up. Just stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna leave.
Oh,
all right, we're gonna auto draft the rest of Tyler's picks. James is up at the 109 after Tyler takes Kenny Puckett.
Kenny Puckett. Give me Treylon Burks, or I'll give myself Treylon Burks since I'm running the sheet here.
No relation to Ellis Burks, former Red Sox outfielder.
Sure, they're not cousins.
They might
might be brothers. They might be. But no, I get that he. Oh, what happened? What did I do?
All right, let's just talk Burks.
Yeah, let's talk Burks. I get that he lost some capital during the combine. Didn't really work out. Was slow. But I think he can make it. I think he can do things for a team, and it all depends.
He'll be a first round pick.
He can
make it. He can make it.
James
I'm off
has worse
tonight, man.
ADD than I have.
UDFA all of a sudden. I think he can make it,
apologize.
guys. He can make it.
Man, if I need to go into my notes, I guess I have to now.
So let's just say Treylon Burks. He's got red flags. There's flags all over.
Lots of flags.
But he's fast. He's fast and
Big and physical.
He succeeded early breakout age. There's lots of positives, but the red flags are out there, and they worry me personally.
What are the flags? Let's talk about the flags real fast, so people that are listening know what you're
Shane
talking about.
is
Terrible feet. He's got terrible feet. He's not good at running routes. He's not good at running the routes that you run in the NFL.
He's raw.
He's raw.
He's raw, even though he
So he's gonna
probably
need some time.
shouldn't be.
He's struggled with weight and work ethic. I mean, he went to the combine and admitted that he wasn't ready for the 40. And it's like you had this whole time to work on the 40-yard dash.
Yeah, they usually schedule the combine about a year ahead of time. So.
Yeah, and he sat there and he said, I wasn't ready to run the 40, and that's why I was slow. And then he didn't do it on his pro day, which also is a red flag. It's like
He's afraid to do it. Or
but you know what? He hunts wild boars, which everybody, hey, if you can't be tough if you don't hunt wild boars with your bare hands. It's like, okay, all right.
Cool story.
Yeah, there's a lot of red flags. He's going to be an interesting person in this draft. He could really drop and become a value, or he could really hurt you if you pick him at, say, 105, which DLF has him at.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to see him drop. And I mean, just me personally, he was my wide receiver 1 up until about 2 weeks ago. And then I just was like, all right, now I'm just being like stubborn. I'm just keeping him there just to keep him there.
Yeah.
And, when I started looking at it more objectively, I'm like, I can't put him in front of Jameson. Definitely can't put him in front of London. I can't put him anywhere near close to in front of Wilson. And this is kind of like, this is kind of that. All right, well, it's him or Olave. They both have kind of issues.
opposite issues. Olave is
very
just
opposite.
weak,
Yeah.
weak
Yeah,
as could be, and then
He's a great route runner, though.
yeah,
He
and
is,
then
yeah.
Burks is just tough and strong. But
Maybe if we put both of them together and make Burks Lave, he'll be a great player.
badass name too.
I like it.
Burks
that's
Lave.
that
Chris
sounds like
Chris Traylon Burks Lave. I believe that's Slavic.
Yeah, that is very Slavic.
we just created a super player.
That's how we do it, man. It's DHH. We're just molding stuff together. All right, Shane, let's go to you with the 110 after James took Traylon Burks.
I don't like this class.
I know.
Jesus. I guess
He's available.
Jesus. Great 40 time.
Great footwear game.
Thin.
You know, he did
Eyes
come
light.
back last week, so he's
He's
available.
a bit of a jogger, Jesus. He doesn't really run.
He did rise again last week, so he is definitely available.
He gets
for
pinned
sure.
at the line too easily.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Chris Olave. Tyler just mentioned the fact that he's very bad at breaking tackles. I think everyone's seen the tweet. I don't remember where it came from. He had one broken tackle last year, which I think I would have been more impressed if he had 0, to be quite honest with you. Because you know what I mean? Like, that's impressive. He only had 5 for his, or 6 for his collegiate career, which is not great. But he gets open, right?
So he doesn't need to break tackles if he's open.
Right. His production profile actually wasn't that different from Garrett Wilson's. I was looking at that last night because for some reason I thought Wilson was far superior. He's really not. So if we could get him to, I don't know, break a tackle once in a while, that'd be great. But you know what? Zach Ertz never breaks tackles, and he does
That's
just
true.
fine.
Mike Evans never does either. He just
Right.
catches and falls.
False. Yeah, for
Like,
years.
like Torrey Holt
Yeah.
used to just
Yeah.
catch and fall.
Nothing wrong with that. Look, that was the entire greatest show on turf. Every one of them was just as soon as there was anyone within
ball.
5 yards of them, they're just sliding. You're like, well,
Yep.
all right.
Azakeem, Bruce, all of them. Absolutely. All right. So you took Olave. I'm going to take one of my guys in this draft, who I would actually rather have than Drake London. May shock some people. It's George Pickens.
Woo!
I think the alpha profile, the production before he got hurt, I think was really, really good. And I just like Pickens' game a lot. He gives me those AJ Green, but a little tougher vibes. I know same school, easy comps, right? But he seems a little tougher than me. I think he's a good route runner, solid hands. He can go up and get it. I think he's more athletic than Drake London, at least watching video of the two of them. So I like George Pickens at the back of the first in Superflex leagues. It'll be interesting to me where he gets picked in the NFL draft. Does he make it into the first round, maybe the end of the first round to Green Bay? Does he make it to Kansas City? I think he could land in one of those spots. So I like George Pickens a lot, the player. And if he slips and he goes later in the second, like maybe he becomes a little bit of a value like Traylon Burks, who we talked about earlier. I like Pickens better than Burks. I think he's a more complete player. I think Burks, is kind of a fun player to watch because he can do a lot of different things. I think Pickens is just a really good alpha outside receiver. So I'm going George Pickens here at the 111. So Tyler, wrap up this first round, put a nice little bow on it, and then we'll get to round 2.
For me, I'm going to go with the only other running back in this class I want, and that is Isaiah Spiller at 112.
Whoa. Are you out on James Cook now?
Well, okay. The only other
first
I
round.
would say, like, quote unquote, has elite potential.
Okay, thank you. I thought you were just pooping
Tyler,
on our boy.
did you know that James Cook is related to Dalvin Cook?
Yes, that is
They're
true.
not brothers.
I just
Doug
read
got that
out.
one right. Like
Yes,
that was
I'm good with that one.
So for me, I know we talked at a running
It's
back.
Jared
comps.
Cook. Jared Cook's his brother.
Jared Cook is his brother.
We talked about, and Brandon Cooks is his second brother because he's got the S.
Yeah.
In case Cookus is also involved somehow.
So for me, I love Isaiah Spiller's film. His feet are so quick and he's just got great tape. It all depends on landing spot. For me, I think he's actually going to be a 3rd round pick. I've heard rumors that the NFL is a lot higher. The NFL is a lot higher on his prospects than we are as a fantasy community. The age, the talent, the production at the SEC. I've heard the NFL is more interested in him than I would say the fantasy industry
That
as a whole.
SEC performance, 3 straight 1,000 yards, that resonates with NFL folks. for
CJ
sure.
Spiller bloodline. Yeah, it's insane for me.
Monster at Clemson. Monster.
So for me, the fact that I think this is he's in a tier of his own for running back. and he's got major potential. Depends on where he lands. I think he can catch. I'm not worried about the 40. The only thing that worries me is his actual upright running style, which with how quick his feet are, I'm fine with. I mean, DeMarco Murray played for years with that type of style and had slower feet. So I really like Isaiah Spiller here at 112. I mean, 3 months ago, we're talking about him at 103, 104. So he's fallen kind of like what we're seeing with Burks, but I actually have more faith in Spiller panning out than I do Burks.
All right. Before we move on to the second round, where we're going to flip the script on the draft order, I want to talk about yet another sponsor. We've got Underdog coming in to sponsor us. They've been an awesome partner thus far. One of the most up-and-coming resources in the fantasy community. If you like to play DFS, you want to do like a rookie and sophomores draft, just a ton of options. You can do all sorts of betting around prop bets, which I don't know if they're going to have anything up for the draft, but I'm going to start looking because I love NFL draft prop bets. I think they're a ton of fun. But the offseason, it has everyone hyped, but you don't want to join another startup. Well, this is where Underdog comes in. So go and download the Underdog app right now. Hit pause, go download. Super easy. You can find it on the Android, the Google Play Store. You can find it on iTunes. Use code DHH to have your deposit up to $100 matched right away. You want to put 50, they'll match 50. Up to $100, they'll match it. It's free money for you for something that you're going to do anyways, let's be honest. So go get that free money. Enter yourself into the rookies and sophomores drafts. You can also play baseball if you're into that. NFL best balls and over-under predictions for in-season. Don't miss out on this deal. Again, it's code DHH for your deposit up to $100 matched. So let's start to kick off round two. Round two is going to start with Tyler is going to go round two, and then Doug, Shane, and then James. So make sure we have the order correct. So, Tyler, with that said, let's get round two kicked off, my friend.
All right. This is a little more interesting. Do I want to dip my toe back into the quarterback range or not? I have a feeling the next two quarterbacks that go will be more second-round picks in the NFL draft. So I'm actually going to go with one of my favorite sleepers. I know he's turned into everybody's sleeper, but Sky Moore, I'm a huge fan of. I love the tape. I think he's hidden no matter what team he goes to. He's going to be a safe floor, but I do think he's got a high ceiling as well. So for me, Sky Moore is my pick, and I'm happy at 201.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I think Sky Moore's draft capital might surprise a lot of people outside of the fantasy industry. He could be a back-end first-round pick as well, so I like Sky Moore a lot. He's been getting a lot of hype from, Rob
Elijah Moore's cousin. Yeah.
Yeah, David Moore's
half brother.
David Moore's nephew, I believe. I'm really reaching on the Moores in the
There's a lot of there's more Moores.
There's always more. All right, I'm going to go at the 202. Let me take a look here. I see a player that sticks out to me. Sky Moore was in consideration here. I am also going wide receiver. Quarterback for me in this class, a lot of questions around guys, and maybe with my next pick I'll take one, but at the 202, another guy that could go in the first round. I know we might see like 6 or 7 receivers go in the first round. It could happen. It's Jahan Dotson out of Penn State.
Rich Dotson's brother.
Absolutely. I believe DeMar Dotson, the left tackle from the Bucks. I know a lot of Dotsons. So I'm going with Jahan Dotson. I was, searching on Twitter. A guy, Matt Harmon, who does reception perception, loves him. Penn State is known for putting out some pretty good receivers. I mean, we've got Allen Robinson. We've got Chris Godwin. We hopefully have KJ Hamler at some point.
Deshaun Hamilton.
RIP. But I really like Dotson. I think he's, again, one of these complete players that can make the big play, run the really nice routes. And if he gets attached to one of these higher end quarterbacks, like his draft capital, we might be talking about him at 202 here. He might sneak up into that mid to late first, if he lands with Kansas City or, one of those spots that we talked about earlier. But I just really love the player. So I'm drafting him here, regardless of where he lands, Jahan Dotson. So at the 203, we are going to Shane.
I don't like any of this. Any of this is falling.
He was for anybody who doesn't know, he was on mute for a while because I just don't think he wanted to say any name. He's like kind of like,
you want to be like the Vikings, don't put a name in and just get
how many second round draft picks have you sold this offseason, Shane?
He actually traded for a bunch. Yeah, you traded for some in UDPL. So
yeah, I have a 205 and 206, I think, in UDPL. I got a few leagues where I have like the 203, 206, and I'm like, what? Why? Why did I
That's not terrible.
do this? What? I mean, yeah. I'm gonna go Matt Coral. Coral. I think Coral is going to be the only other quarterback drafted in the first. I think there's going to be three of them: Willis, Pickett for reasons unknown, and then Matt Coral. I like Coral a lot, man. I know he's kind of a gimmicky quarterback. Whatever, Tyler. Okay, you just stop it with those faces. But he's really good under pressure. He's really good out of the pocket. He's a little small, and I guess that's really it. Oh, and he's a knucklehead.
You sold me.
He's a knucklehead, according to NFL reports this week. Well, here's the thing, right? So I'm shooting for upside. I think Coral's going to go in the first round. That gives me at least a year to get out on the guy, right? Because even if he sits on the bench somewhere, if I draft, say, I don't know, Christian Watson here, who I'm absolutely in love with because he's 6'4" and he runs faster than the wind, but he busts in his first year, the cat's going to be out of the bag on that because he's a wide receiver. Everyone's going to know that he's dead in the water. He's done. At least Coral, I can try to recoup some value, recoup.
Yeah, with a quarterback, there's always value there.
Yeah. I mean, Zach Wilson had a god awful year, and he's still fetching major draft capital for rookie drafts. And same with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence's value has not dropped an ounce, and he had a terrible rookie season. So yeah.
All right, so we've got Matt Coral at 2.3. James, we haven't heard from you in a bit. What's 2.4 looking like, my friend?
Taking my time. Whether or not this player makes it into the first round in the draft, I'm not sure, but it's going to be a quarterback. I'm not letting a quarterback slide.
Yeah, this was my second.
Hey, did you know this is where I'm going today? It's gonna be May.
Oh, snap!
So yeah, this was my other thing I was going to go with at 201 was this pick because I think his upside is actually higher than any other quarterback in this draft class, not named Malik Willis.
Yeah, and that's Sam Howell, correct?
Mr. Howell.
Yes.
Mr. Gunther, yes. It is Sam Howell. I like him more than Coral. I think Coral takes some shots that are going to be intercepted. He likes to try to force it into windows, and I'm not all about that. They'll bench his ass really fast. Sam Howell, he is a little bit more, I want to say, gunslinger type, that he's going to throw it down the field more. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Beautiful deep ball.
Yes, and he's not afraid to push it and run into the end zone at the goal line, or just take it from a QB sneak point of view. Can analyze the full field. That's what I want to see. I want to see these guys that can actually utilize their whole team and not just dump it off to the running back. Sam Howell definitely fits the bill as a premier quarterback in the NFL, I think. And he's a steal here in the middle of the second round.
I like it. All right, Tyler, you got the 205. Where you going?
That one was tough. That was my pick. I'm actually going to go with Trey McBride here because we did say it's tight end premium. Trey McBride is, to me, the only tight end I even want a part of in this class other than one other guy. But he's got the highest upside. He's got a little bit of Kittle, Mark Andrews, that style of play to him. I mean, when you catch as many balls as he did in college and over 1,000 yards, I get it was Colorado State, but still, at tight end, that's not easy to do. So for me, the upside is there, especially in a 12-team tight end premium. If you can hit on a tight end in the second round, you are just cashing the check right there. That's ultimate value. And I'm going to take that every day with Trey McBride.
All right. I like Trey McBride there. I'm going to give a layup to Shane because I like Shane. So I kind of already know he's going to go with his next pick. So I'm going to steer away from that just to be nice. But I haven't taken a running back yet. So you know what? I want to take a running back. I'm going to take Zamir White, who was, for me, was one of the most impressive backs in the combine. We obviously know what he can do at Georgia, where it was him and James Cook. White's been around for a bit, but he's so silky smooth. He can do it in the passing game. He's got the size that we like. He's 6 foot, 214. Just a player that I really like that I think is a bit underrated and kind of like I could see him getting drafted before Spiller does in the NFL draft. Supposedly in NFL circles, they love Zamir White. So I wouldn't be surprised if White goes somewhere in the second round. And then we start to see his value get boosted a little bit because of draft capital. So yeah, I think Zamir White at 206 is a great pick here. I love it. It's actually probably my favorite of the night so far. So Shane, 207, are you going to take your boy?
First of all, you can't applaud your own pick. Like, that's just poor form.
I sure as hell can.
Jason Garrett applauds himself all the time. So why can't Doug?
I mean, I'm going to go big or go home here. Might as well draft Christian Watson, right?
I line it up for you.
He's a physical marvel. We know that always works out. Just look at Dorial Green Beckham that he had.
Jalen Hurd, he was great.
Yeah, Jalen Hurd. He just never fails, especially a small school guy. Like, it's pretty much a guarantee that he's going to hit. So here at 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Rice, T.O., they were in small school guys. So, yeah, absolutely.
What are we, 210, 211? What are we at?
We are at 207.
207. Yeah, I like Christian Watson at 207. I don't think he'll last this long in real drafts once the draft comes, because I think we're going to talk ourselves into wherever he lands as it being a great spot, because he's in that hospitable zone of Green Bay and Buffalo. And
he just seems like a Green Bay Packer,
Kansas
like a Jordy Nelson.
He already plays in the cold weather. He's used to it. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, even though they play in a dome. But so for me, like, there's like Jordy Nelson comps going around for Christian Watson. Like, if he goes to Green Bay, he could play that Jordy Nelson role. It's like, but Kenny, Jordy Nelson actually had good hands.
I mean, they already have Alan Lazard. Why do you need another one?
Yeah, I mean, Alan Lazard's like Drake London.
It is going to be fun watching a 6'4" wide receiver getting jet sweeps and things like that, because they're going to do whatever they need.
Getting his legs cut out from under him. It'll be beautiful.
You think? I don't know, man. Everything. I know it was the FCS, which is like the 13th grade, but man, he was just toasting defensive backs. Like, they weren't even in the same like video as him. Like, they were in like.
I know.
But the 700. But if you're doing that in lower competition, my worry is like you should be killing it in the stats. I mean, you saw it with Corey Davis, you saw it with Cooper Kupp, but you didn't see it with Christian Watson. And I do think that it had a lot to do with Trey Lance and his little grab it and run. They did that a lot. Like, don't even read the field. Just
that was pretty much Shane's strategy at the Expo. Yeah. Just grab it,
and run.
I didn't get far. But yeah, I mean, but relative, his stats are fine though. You know what I mean? It's just North Dakota, Southern University of New Hampshire.
North Dakota,
like that. They just didn't throw the ball enough. I mean, that's just not what they do on offense. But when they did throw the ball, he was dominating it.
But I think at 207, you draft him because you're thinking there's a ceiling play here. I'm totally down with that at the 207 for sure. So, all right, James, it's off to you at the 208.
I'm going to take my RB3 on my list, and that is Rachaad White at Arizona State. 4.48 40 time, 6'2", 210. He's a little tall, but finished his senior year with over 1,450 total yards, 16 total touchdowns. He's elusive. He takes his time running through the pocket. I mean, running through the line, running through the tackles, and then has breakaway speed. So if there's any guy that I want to draft later on in the second round that has a chance to take a step in the right direction because he was subpar in pass blocking in college and maybe he learns it in the NFL, it's Rachaad White. I think he has the oomph to get the job done at the next level, but it may take a little time. And
don't use my word on a 5th round NFL pick.
You're going to eat those words on Friday.
I guess.
I say Friday because it's definitely not happening on Thursday.
Yeah, no.
But I think Rachaad White is going to be okay, and I don't mind taking him here. Like, the second round for me is
Yeah.
Like, all these players have question marks. No one is a definitive star. And if you find him and say, "Oh yeah, I knew he was a diamond in the rough the whole time," no, there's no way.
Yeah, ideally, you want to see Rachaad White go to Tennessee at some point. Like, I think that would be a great spot for him to back up Henry, learn from him. We all know Henry is, how many more years does he have left, right? But Rachaad White could be what we all thought Jerry McNichols was going to be, right?
I was going to say, we've read that book with a 3rd round draft pick like 3 years ago. And
yes, we have.
I forgot that name. already. That's how far ago it was.
Darren, did he say Darrington Evans?
But for my bang for my buck, I would rather take a third round NFL pick in James Cook than Rashad White. And the upside, I mean,
Is that who you're picking here at the 209? That was a good
yeah.
transition. All right.
That was great.
Sniping me.
James Cook, to me, is going to be the steal of this draft, especially if he goes this late. I'd probably take him ahead of Watson. I'd take him ahead of Zamir White. My issue was the Trey McBride or James Cook, but the tight end premium pushed me towards Trey McBride. James Cook, in my opinion, has the most upside in this class for where he's going in rookie drafts. And with that, I'm going to take James Cook. I do think he's going to be a third round NFL pick. If he's not, I may think about this pick again, but I'm still okay with it in the late second. So for me, James Cook, I love the player. He's my RB4 in this class. And I just hope he lands in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm going to take at 210. I'm going to take one of my guys who's been sliding down ADP boards. We did this a mock draft a while ago, and I took him at the end of the first round. Now I'm here at the end of the second round at the 210, and he's available because he didn't test well athletically. But you watch the tape, I think he's just going to be a solid NFL player in his career. He reminds me a little bit of Keenan Allen. Really good route runner, solid hands, but not the fastest guy on earth, but creates separation with pretty good footwork. And that's David Bell. So I like David Bell a lot. He's becoming more and more of a value for me. And I think even when the rubber hits the road, when we talk rookie drafts, I think you might even be able to get him in the third round, which for me, if I have third round picks, or I'm going to try to trade up and get him because I really like David Bell. I think he's going to be a solid pro for a long time. I don't think he's ever going to be, a wide receiver, consistent wide receiver too, but really good rosters are built around really good football players, and maybe he's a wide receiver 3 in his career, and I'm okay with that at the end of the second or an early third round pick.
Doug is Doug is definitely in on David Bell. I just went back and looked at the pre-combine one quarterback.
I took him at the end of the first.
109.
So I do want to say there's 2 situations that could happen with David Bell. He could be a third round NFL pick, and his draft capital will be in the mid-second. Or he could be Kelvin Harmon, be a 6th round pick, and just be dead in the water.
Don't you break my damn heart.
That is a perfect comp because he tested just like Kelvin Harmon. And that is like all the hype in the world, analytically looks great, should be good. And then just the NFL overlooks him and is like, yeah, not happening.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he does get drafted, but I like him as a player. So 210 it is. Shane, you've got your last pick on the board. Wow us with your 211. I know you're so enthusiastic about making this pick.
No, I'm excited this dude's still here. So I'm hoping that he actually is and I didn't just zone out. But I'm going to take Pierre Strong.
He is available.
He is available. Awesome. First of all, I wanted to lock down all of Dakota. I got North and South.
Nice.
That's important.
You get the Mount Rushmore team. Yeah. Like, you're good.
That's super important. Dude's a burner, and everybody tells you, "Oh, you're looking for this year's Elijah Mitchell. It's going to be Pierre Strong," except that he's not going to be drafted in the 6th round. He might be end up being drafted in the 2nd day.
He's going to be a Falcon.
Think he's going to be a Falcon?
4th or 5th round pick.
4th or 5th. Obviously, I'm going to be less. Liking him. I'll like him less. Yeah, less enthusiastic if you want to speak English. But I think I'll go higher than that. Tyler, and I think I'll have a roll day one.
I hope Falcons don't take him in the 3rd because I would be very upset.
They've needs everywhere. It doesn't matter who they draft, where they draft. They just
need everybody. Do you guys have Mohamed Sanu still? Because we'll take him back from your Pats.
No, he's on the Niners last I knew.
Yeah, I know.
2nd round pick
on the
Mohamed
NFL.
Sanu.
Real quick, one key difference between Kelvin Harmon and David Bell is David Bell was an elite college producer from like the crib, like just from his first day in college.
The crib.
Yeah, it was like he's 18 years old, just absolutely mauling Iowa every year for 370 yards receiving per game. It's just that he runs like
he's still running as
Doug. I mean, he runs like Doug.
What's that receiver that was notoriously slow? I can't remember his name.
Leonard Carew?
No.
Leonte Carew?
It was the tall guy from Mississippi.
Yep. He's always the butt of the jokes.
Tall guy from Mississippi.
Yeah, he Yeah, we won't make that joke. We'll say because he has passed on.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So for me, the perfect situation for David Bell would be the Patriots. He'd work well with Mac Jones, very well, and he could be he could be headed in the third round for the Patriots. So
Man,
Yeah, if they don't take Mechie.
oh, he'd be a great pick.
All right, James, you've got the last pick in the second round. Bring us home, and we can wrap this thing up.
Well, it is tight end premium, so I'm going to take Greg Dulcich.
I knew you were going to take your guy.
He's my guy. I loved him in the combine. Absolutely crushed it. He's similar to Mark Andrews. I love the way he can go out and just change directions and catch the ball. That's like marquee for tight ends in the NFL. If you can make that play, then you will definitely be able to see some kind of playing time. May need to get his weight up, but he's young, so he could do that. He has the ability to create space and great ball handling skills. So I'm okay. Like, there's only two tight ends in the so like Tyler, there's only two tight ends in this draft class that I would actually consider. Trey McBride, obviously, and then Greg Dulcich. I'm not tampering with any other ones, especially in the second round. So I'll take Greg here and be happy with it. And I love his hair, Polamalu style.
You're not happy about it. Like, you're not stoked that you're taking a tight end at 212.
I'm okay with it. No, I really am.
Right.
I'm okay with it. I mean, do I want to take a shot on another wide receiver or running back? I mean, I guess I could have. I could have probably went Brian Robinson.
No, because I was going to take him at 301.
Like Mechie would be a choice here.
No, don't take Brian Robinson.
Mechie's going to be a second round NFL pick. It's almost, it feels like a guarantee Mechie's going to be like a second round, late second pick because he's an Alabama receiver.
There's going to be a ton of wide receivers drafted in the first round.
There's going to be a ton of wide receivers drafted in the second round as well.
Yeah.
So
It's just going to push everything up. Running backs will get pushed back. Wide receivers will get pushed up.
I feel like running backs are going to get pushed up due to the fact that there's not going to be too many of them.
There's going to be a glut in the third through fifth rounds because you got all these guys like Zamir White, Keontae Ingram.
We're all going to talk ourselves
Tyler
here too.
like all those guys.
Brian Robinson, Jerome Ford, whatever his name is.
Goodson
from
Iowa.
Kevin Harris. Like, there's just going to be a bunch of guys that they're going to go, I don't know which one of these dudes is going to hit, much like Will do. I'll just draft this guy.
Yeah. So James bookends the draft with Kenneth Walker and Greg Dulcich, just like we all predicted. Good job, James. I like it. I think everyone did a fabulous job. It's always going to be fun to look back at this when we do another one, when we actually have landing spots, because let's be honest, that will affect all these rookie drafts. I'm just excited that, a week from now, I've got rookie drafts kicking off. I have to juggle multiple apps, and it's going to be a fun time. It's always going to be hectic for a week, and then I can take a break, just like everyone else here. But before we wrap up, Shane, I told you in the beginning, tell us about you. Where can we find you on Twitter? And give me your favorite band.
My favorite band. That's easy. Radiohead.
Okay.
Second favorite band would probably be City and Color or Iron and Wine.
That was Owl City or something like that.
Who?
Owl City.
Is that a band?
Yeah.
The Million Firefly song?
No, definitely not. Kesha would be in my top 10 though. At Shane is the worst on the Twitter. Yeah. And Radiohead's awesome. I don't play in that band or anything, but whatever. Check them out anyway.
I thought you might have.
Where they can find you on Christian Meat.
At Shane is the worst. I just found it easier to just use that
at Quizwit
sites. On the dating sites.
That's where he met Christian Watson. Was on Christian Mingle. All the Christians go there.
Oh my god.
And J-Date. I'm also on J-Date.
And McCaffrey was there too, right?
He ran into Christian Ponder once, Tyler. You know him, right?
Yeah. They're related. Watson and Ponder.
He was trying to pick up Sam Ponder. It didn't work out. He's like, by proxy, I'm going to talk to Christian Ponder to see if I can circle around and get to Sam. But it was a great strategy. Much appreciated. So before we wrap up, just want to tell everyone about dynastynerds.com. Making sure you go on there and sign up for the Nerd Herd. Use code DHH for 15% off of any subscription. There's trade tools on there. There's extra Nerd Herd episode, Prospect Film Room, which is a must-have, Prospect Scores, and Dynasty GM. Lots of cool stuff over at our friend Dynasty Nerds. Yes, Rich and his team are awesome. So check out dynastynerds.com. And also check out Viridian Global. We've got sweatshirts. We've got hoodies. Lots of cool stuff on there. Search Dynasty Happy Hour and support us here. And then next week, it's episode 300 for this bish. We're hitting it, and we're doing our draft review. It's one of the funnest podcasts of the year, so make sure you check that out. Sparta! We're going to do some awesome things on episode number 3.
Like kick people in a hole, just like the movie.
You know what? We're going to do a phalanx, and we're all going to have shields, and we're going to get in that like beetle configuration because it's super strong.
It's the wrong kind of fantasy.
Yeah, that's
It's a phalanx.
This
Look
sounds
at
Fantasy
like-
nights screwed
this
up.
sounds
I'm mostly
Yeah.
Greek. I know these things, okay?
Mostly
If
Greek.
my name was Feta, Tyler would have known that I was Greek.
Easily. If your name
Feta
was
Eddie.
Doug,
Feta
Doug,
Eddie's my name.
Feta
Doug
Eddie,
Feta.
Doug. Seriously, name should be easier. Like
My
I'm
name is
German.
Guido Eddie.
I'm German.
Guido.
I should just be called
Yeah.
sauerkraut.
Tyler Wiener Schnitzel.
Tyler. I got to be honest with you. Your name is about as German as they come. Like there's
Tyler-
no doubt about that.
yeah.
Tyler Guntener. Yeah.
He should be Brat is the
Gunther.
worst.
Brat is the worst. Okay, we're ending it. That's it. No 300th episode. We are done.
All right. Thank you for joining. For Tyler, James, our lovely guest Shane, I am Doug. We will see you next week on the Dynasty Happy Hour.